Dominic Frisby. Please, welcome him. And good morning, everyone.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much, Mark, for a lovely introduction. And I'm going to talk to you today, ladies and gentlemen, about privacy, specifically investing in privacy. I'm convinced that privacy is going to be possibly the most important narrative and argument in technology over the next 5 or 10 years. By the way, who came and saw my talk on, when was it, a couple of days ago? Oh, great, excellent. It was good, wasn't it? I was fantastic. I was saying, whee! Who didn't come and see my talk? Okay, well, it was brilliant. You missed something fantastic. But for those of you that don't know me, I wrote, there's all the, the guff. I wrote the first book about Bitcoin way back in 2013. Oh, guys, there's nothing on the slides there. Ah, there we go. I wrote the first, seamless, absolutely seamless, this, ladies and gents. I wrote the first book about Bitcoin way back in 2013, 2014. And I also wrote this film, or I co-wrote this film, which some of you may have seen way back in the day, Four Horsemen. Yeah! And there's a little story about that Four Horsemen film, which I might tell you if I've got time. Now, there's a great quote from William Shakespeare. Who are you? Why do you hide in the darkness and listen to my private thoughts? Now, the other day, ladies and gentlemen, I got out of bed and I put my slippers on and I looked at my slippers and I thought to myself, I need a new pair of slippers. And I didn't discuss this with anyone. I didn't discuss it with my mum, my partner, my kids. I didn't start Googling slippers. All I did was think to myself, I need a new pair of slippers. And the very next day, Amazon is selling me slippers. It's marketing slippers at me. Now, how did it know? How did it know that? And I'm just going to do a quick survey of you. Would you put your hands up? I'm not sure if this is going to work, but it's quite interesting. Would you put your hands up, ladies and gents, if you're American, if you're from the United States? Okay, the majority of you. Now, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up, all of those of you that are American. Now, I'm going to ask you to put your hands down if, over the course of the last 20 years and so, you have voted consistently either Republican or Democrat. So if you haven't voted consistently Republican or Democrat, keep your hands up. Okay, so you guys with your hands up are what's called wavering voters. Now, keep your hands up, you wavering voters. If you happen to own an American car, keep your hands up. If you don't own an American car, put your hands down. Okay, so we got this gentleman down in the front, sir, who's got his hands up. What's your name, sir? Phil. And where are you from, Phil? California. Excellent. What kind of car have you got? 2 Fords and a Honda. There you go. One car, not enough, ladies and gents. Phil, did you know, and the rest of you guys who've all got American cars, you don't have to keep your hands up anymore. You can put your hands down. In the last general election, it was discovered that some kind of guy who studied data found out that people who were wavering voters who drove an American car were more likely to vote for Trump than they were for the Democrats. And so there was a campaign across with all the tech guys looking for people who were wavering voters who owned American cars. And those people were targeted with all sorts of ads and Facebook ads and goodness knows what else that persuaded them, according to whatever their demographic was. Apparently if it was women, it was all soft, gentle stuff. And if it was men, it was slightly more aggressive stuff. But you were targeted, Phil, with data based on the fact that you own an American car to get you to vote for Donald Trump. And you guys back there, the same. Don't you think that's incredible? That just the simple fact of a car you bought can affect the outcome of a general election. And that's no comment, by the way. The Democrats are just as bad, or just as, the same thing is going on both sides of the political debate. Your data is being used for purposes beyond which it was supplied. And by the way, who is listening to our private thoughts? Is it the government? Is it large corporations? Is it Google? Is it Amazon? Is it all of them? We don't know. And here's the problem. We have given our privacy away without realizing what we were doing it. When the internet is free, you are the product. Now let's say I might have a conversation. It's not a question of whether you're doing anything right or wrong. I might be having a question with, say, my lawyer. Now, I don't want my wife to know the details of that conversation I'm having with my lawyer, perhaps. Or I might have a conversation with my doctor about, some mortal illness or something that I've got. I might not want my family to know the contents of that conversation. There are all sorts of reasons why you have a conversation with one person and you supply the information for that one conversation, and you don't necessarily want to supply it to someone else. And that's a basic thing. You might say something to your taxi driver that you wouldn't want your accountant to know about, that you supply different information to different people. Yet, if that information that you supplied to that one person in that one context is used for something else, then there is a breach of trust there. But that is what is going on, ladies and gentlemen. There's a big thing in the UK at the moment where, I'm sure you have this in the US, where if you go to the supermarket and you sign up for the reward points you get at the supermarket can then share the information about what you buy and sell to third parties. Now, they've discovered in the UK that people who buy fennel, fennel, this unusual vegetable, are an extremely low insurance risk. How somebody found this thing out, but if you find fennel, you are an insurance company is going to be offering you, good deals. But I suppose if you're buying like loads of 20 Marlboro Lights and a bottle of whiskey, then you're a pretty rubbish insurance risk. But anyway, what you buy and sell is between you and the supermarket, but that information is being shared elsewhere. So that's what's going on. And Gmail, right? I've used Gmail. And there's a lot of times when some guys really piss me off, right? In fact, one of the guys who really pissed me off is the guy who directed this film, right? Because when we did this film, this was a film championing economic change, but nobody who worked on that film got paid. The guy who directed that film ran off with all the money. And not only that, a lot of people didn't get properly credited. So that film left a really bad taste in our mouths. And let me tell you, I was pretty angry about it. And I drafted some pretty horrible emails in the course of things. And a lot of the times you draft an email, but you don't actually send the email. But Gmail knows what you've written, so it knows what you've thought. Even if you haven't acted on your thoughts, it knows what they are. It's just frightening. And so your data, which was supplied for one tiny thing, I went to the supermarket and I bought some fennel, and suddenly that has implications about my insurance. Your data gets used to nudge you, it gets used to shape your behavior, it gets used to influence what you do, what you see, what you read, what you buy, what you sell, to determine the content you receive, the information you receive. You've all seen that debt bomb video I made many years ago, right? That had something like 1 million hits on YouTube. It's very popular. If you Google debt bomb into Google, all you'll get is like the French version. I don't know why, because I guess it was considered anyway. Your data's used to help people make decisions about you. It is used to spy on you. And in bad hands, your data can potentially be used against you in some way. We have no idea what data is being used, how it's being used, by whom. You have little say in its use. You have no ability to object, no power to change the data. You have no control. And all because of the fact that if you sign up for Gmail or you use Gmail, Google or Facebook, it's free. You are the product. So that's the situation we're in, ladies and gentlemen. And I should say this, you behave differently when you're being watched. Surveillance inhibits and represses you. You do all sorts of things in your mind. You have dark thoughts, imaginative thoughts. You do all sorts of things when you're by yourself, which you do not do when you're being watched. And we all need this private place to explore ideas outside of the mainstream. And something you thought or said, surveillance, it inhibits and represses. It's a dangerous world we're going into. The internet was supposed to be a force for liberation, and instead it has become the greatest tool for mass surveillance and control ever known. It is amazing. So we've got to fight back. And the solution is privacy tech. Protecting your privacy limits the scope that others have to use your information beyond the purpose for which it was supplied. It enables you to grow, to mature, and without being shackled by stupid things you've said in the past. It enables you to explore new ideas outside of the mainstream without fear of being watched. It gives you control of your online reputation. Those that know about you have power over you, but if you protect your privacy, you limit that power. And all sorts of new technologies, protocols, coins, they're being developed to protect privacy. And new companies are emerging with the same goal. And I've just been thinking so hard about privacy, and I've become convinced it's so important. And I think it's going to be the dominant, gold was the big investment theme of the noughties. Bitcoin, crypto is the big investment theme of this decade. I'm convinced that the next big theme, the next narrative that drives the next bull market is going to be privacy. But how do you invest in privacy? There's no way to do it. And so for that very purpose, we need an investment vehicle by which people can invest in privacy. And I think I've got the first one. We've set up a company called Cypherpunk Holdings. We literally, the name change and the new ticker symbol went up last week. We've got the ticker symbol HODL, which I'm very pleased with. And we trade on the Canadian Securities Exchange. We've got a tiny, tiny market cap at the moment. We've only just begun. Now, who are the cypherpunks? Who knows who the cypherpunks were? You clever people. So let me just remind you of this. Cypherpunk Holdings, it's a holding vehicle set up to invest in technologies and cryptocurrencies with strong privacy. The cypherpunks saw all this coming. They were a group of computer coders in the 1980s and the early 1990s. Satoshi Nakamoto, the inventor of Bitcoin, was a cypherpunk. The roots of crypto are all in the cypherpunks. They saw this coming, ladies and gents. They had huge concerns about the possibilities that the internet would open up for corporate and state invasion of privacy. And their solution was to develop open source technologies to defend privacy, especially cryptography. And their ultimate goal was an anonymous system of digital cash, which eventually we got. And so we've named our company after them. There's a great bit of writing called the Cypherpunk Manifesto, which was written by one of the coders, Eric Hughes. And if you Google Eric Hughes, you cannot find any photographs of him online except this one, where he's looking extremely 1980s. And he said, privacy is necessary for an open society in the electronic age. So, the thesis of our company is that privacy is undervalued, it's been mispriced, we have given away our privacy, it's undervalued, it's an asset that is cheap. But attitudes are changing, people like you guys, we're all starting to wake up to its importance. As this narrative changes, technology and coins with strong privacy will have strong market demand. Some people are going to pay a premium to protect their privacy. And as public awareness of the importance of privacy increases, as this narrative, there are already TED Talks about it, there's going to be a strong privacy narrative, and it's going to further increase demand for privacy tech. So as I say, privacy is going to be the narrative which drives the next bull market in tech. And our mission is to build the world's leading privacy investment vehicle. Here are some examples of privacy tech that are being developed, some older, some newer. We've got PGP, pretty good privacy. I've got 5 minutes, have I? I'm going to speed through this. Zero knowledge proofs, that's the technology which Zcash uses. Ring signatures is the technology behind Monero, another privacy coin. And we have this new coin, Grin, which is being used on this new protocol, the Mimblewimble protocol. And it uses blinding factors in coin joins, which eliminates public addresses, and it obfuscates the amounts being transacted. You want me to go back? Oh, hey, listen, I've put my card out. Anyone who wants a copy of the presentation, just email me, or it's on the website. The presentation is on the website. Those are examples of privacy tech. I've got to speed through this, ladies and gents. That's the initial portfolio that we're working towards in the company. 30% Bitcoin, 35% privacy coins, and 30% equities. We've developed this thing called the Cypherpunk Index of Privacy Coins, where we rank privacy coins based on their strengths and weaknesses. And the essential feature of a privacy coin is the amount of coins that you own, send, and receive are not observable, traceable, or linkable by transaction histories on the blockchain. Now, I don't think you can see this, but those are the main privacy coins up there, and I've put Litecoin on there, but that's a dubious choice. And we've developed this thing. Now at the top, we've got 5 rankings. We've got market cap, decentralization, usage, scalability, and privacy. And some coins rank high on some of these measures and rank low on others of these measures. So for example, Bitcoin has the biggest market cap. Bitcoin is the blue one, so you can see it's high on market cap. It's extremely decentralized. There's a lot of miners. It has extremely wide usage. However, Bitcoin is pretty traceable, as we know, and there's a company called Chain Analysis who, for all the good work they do, are potentially evil because they're disclosing all sorts of stuff about in transactions which were supposed to be private, and they've affected the fungibility of Bitcoin. We've got another coin here. If you look at the red one, that is Monero. So that ranks the highest on privacy, but it's got usage issues and scalability issues. This chart is on the website. You can see it much more clearly. I'll tell you about it. We're pretty lucky because it's taken a while to set this company up. I don't know if we're at the end of the bear market yet, but coins are a lot cheaper than they were 6 months or a year ago. But we are going to be accumulating coins very slowly for that reason until it's clear that the bear market's over. As for the equities we invest in, it's the usual thing: good management, early opportunities, clearly defined access to liquidity. Those are 2 of the companies which we own at the moment: Hydro 66, which is a data center in Sweden, and Chia. We put some seed capital into Chia, which is a new coin which is working around the principle of proof of space. Our temporary CEO is Mark Henderson, who set the company up in the first place. Mark was behind a company called Laramide, which is he's an old school miner. He's a big company called Laramide, big uranium company. He was behind a company called Aquiline Resources, big silver project in Argentina, which he sold to Pan American Silver in 2009. And it was one of the biggest silver deposits in the world, and they still haven't built a mine there yet because it's Argentina. And but nevertheless, so he's a canny guy. He got rid of that just at the right time. He won't be CEO forever. Our one director is Mo Adam. Mo runs the world's biggest Bitcoin ATM business, and he runs a company called BitAccess, which is one of Canada's main Bitcoin exchanges and blockchain tech companies. Very clever guy. There's me, genius, hello. And we've just managed to get John Matonis. We actually announced this yesterday. I don't know if you guys are familiar with John Matonis, but he's one of the cleverest guys in the Bitcoin space, was there right at the beginning. He's worked for VeriSign, DigiCash in the 90s, Hushmail he was a CEO of at one stage. He was the founding director of the Bitcoin Foundation. And in terms of like intellect and contacts in the space, John is unrivaled. But it's basically John, me, and Mo who are sourcing all the deals, and working out the best investments. How long has I got? 1 more minute. Right, there's the other management, all great guys. We've literally got a market cap of $5 million. We're tiny. We've got, our NAV is $7 million. We've got 3 million in investments, 4 million in cash, trading at below NAV at the moment. There's the share structure. Let me finish on this. Oh, yeah. Who's heard about all this palaver with this guy who's supposedly died with all the keys to $190 million worth of things? OMG and WTF. And has he really died, or has he ran off with the money? We've got all sorts of operational security procedures in place so that cannot possibly happen. Again, it's all on the website and it's here, but I've only got 30 seconds left and Mark is approaching me. Let me summarize, ladies and gentlemen. Why invest in this company? Privacy is undervalued. The sector is determined to grow. We have a unique strategy. This is a unique opportunity. It's first mover advantage. This is early. The company is young. We've got management with unrivaled contacts across the cryptocurrency, blockchain, and Silicon Valley. Great deal flow, strong board, good track record, minimum overheads, clean capital structure, discount to NAV, and it's an easy way of investing in what is going to be a huge story in the years ahead, and that is privacy, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gents, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. If you want to find out more, there's my card. Send me an email, and also you can find out, this presentation will be on the website as well, or drop me a line and I'll email it over to you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of Anarchapulco.
Anarchapulco, it's so hype, I'm trying to tell ya. This the event of the year and best vacation ever. Ron Potter, Jeffrey Tucker, just to name a few. Get your tickets, you don't wanna miss it. You should roll through, talking politics to health and self-improvement to investing. So many things, not one thing. Learn how to live life unchained, yeah. 4 days vibing on the beach, time to connect. All about growth, way more than a conference. This is Anarchapulco, yeah. Let's go.
You ain't seen nothing yet.